Hey, this is Mike. Thank you so much for choosing this video. Today I'm in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, visiting East Coast Honda, and I'm checking out a 2019 Honda Ridgeline two-wheel drive in the RTL-T trim level. This Ridgeline is sitting on 245/60 Firestone tires, wrapped around 18-inch alloy wheels with a dark gray finish. It also has four-wheel disc brakes with ventilated rotors in the front and solid rotors in the back. The name of this color is White Diamond Pearl. And hopefully the sun's shining today, so hopefully you can see what the color looks like. From a distance, it kind of looks like a regular white, but once you see the reflection of the sun and light landing on it, you can tell it's a pearl coat. So looking here on the front, it has quite a bit of a flat black plastic here on the front bottom that extends out around the wheel wells and across the side of the vehicle, which I'll show you that briefly. But it's also here on the grille. Then you have a chrome emblem, and then the chrome portion is kind of like a big bar here in the front, extending out across the top and into the headlights. Now the headlights have an LED daytime running light on the outside, black bezels here, and the low beams are in a projector housing. The high beams are in a reflector, both powered by halogen bulbs, just like the fog lights, also in a reflector housing. Turn signals are also standard bulbs as well. Looking at the profile, you can see that plastic portion extending here completely uninterrupted around the wheel well and here on the side, a little bit thicker right in this area, and it continues down. Now this protects the paint from road debris and just gives it a little bit more rugged material there closer to the ground. Now the side mirrors, the upper portion of the side mirrors and the handles are all body colored, and the pillar here between the glass, you can see the privacy glasses here in the back, this is also blacked out, and then you have some chrome around the outside of the glass as well. This is what the key looks like. It's a proximity key system designed to, you can just keep it in your pocket and use the vehicle 100%. Now it does have a physical key here on the inside and lock and unlock buttons, ability to remote start the vehicle, and a panic button. So let's go ahead and push that so we can hear what the horn sounds like. Very strong horn. So as long as you have the key with you, it can be in your pocket, in a bag, as long as it's within a close proximity to the outside of the either driver or passenger door. You can lock the doors by pushing this button. You can unlock it simply by putting your hand behind the handle. There's a sensor back here, and it'll allow you access to the vehicle. There's also a physical key location here on the driver's side only. Now the doors go all the way to the bottom. So when you open up the door, you can see there's a seal there to kind of keep out most of the road debris out of the door jamb, so your clothes don't get dirty entering and exiting the vehicle. So the inside of the passenger side door here, you have some soft touch surfaces up here, here, and here. So this is kind of like a synthetic Nerf type material, and then you have, it's kind of like a more of a vinyl in here around your arm. And then this is a sealed up pocket, so you can utilize that for like a little storage space, as well as a handle to pull the door closed. And I like the way they have the shelf right here and a forward position for the bottle holder, and then just an extra little storage space there as well. Power seat here for the passenger. Now as you can see, probably these little arrows indicates you can't go up and down, just forward and back and tilt here. Leather trimmed heated seats with the perforated portion here in the center. Here's the floorboard. Now the floor mats are not in place, but you can see there's places for the floor mats to hook in place, so that way it doesn't slide around on you. And check out all the legroom here. Kind of tapers up, but overall, lots of legroom. So the seats are all the way back, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to get in the front and get in the back just to give you an idea of what it looks like when I'm sitting in there anyway. Okay, so it's a locking glove compartment. Kind of flops down, smooth plastic on the inside. And then you have hard plastics here, soft material up in there. Okay, so this is interesting to me. The front door swings out quite wide, and it has a much larger opening than the back door. So the back door, since it has such a small opening, you would think that they would have the door open a little bit wider. This kind of gives you a narrow opening and a door that gets in the way. So that's something to consider if you have a lot of passengers in the back. So the inside of the back door has a really nice cup holder and cell phone holder here in the more forward position, but the only soft touch surface is here on your arm. The rest of it is a hard plastic. You have a little spot there and nothing below but a speaker and hard plastics. Now the back seats, they flip up in a 60-40 split fashion, so you can utilize some of the space on the floor, but you can also utilize that floor space even when you have passengers under here, so that's really good. Has armrests with cup holders in them. That moves out of the way in case you need a center passenger. It does have the latch system for car seats. Both back of both front seats have the pockets for some storage space. There's some vents and 2 USB charge ports down there and a little storage pocket. I mean, a little tiny storage pocket. And a flat floor. So, you know, the center passenger not gonna have to deal with a big hump in the center. These seats, you can lift them up. There's a little handle here and it releases it, and it's assisted. So it doesn't take much energy to lift it up and snap it in place like so. So you can utilize this space as a kind of more of a flat floor to put boxes or whatever in here, and you can also maintain passenger space at the same time. So you can fold up one or the other and or both and add to your cargo space. Okay, so getting in, so you can see it's quite narrow. Let's get in the front first and look at all the room, and the door swings out wide, so this is really easy to just walk up and get in. All right, so I have plenty of legroom here. A little bit of a hump here in the center for the wheel well, kind of gets in the way a little bit, but overall, pretty decent amount of legroom. So I have the seat all the way back, so if I move it up, you can see I'm quickly getting closer to the dashboard, but it takes a while before I get too close. So I'm 6 feet tall, just to give you an idea of how much room is here. It's overall quite well. Now the tapering right here is, I can see where that could be a little bit of an issue over time, but it does kind of like feel like a footrest when you go up. Now the seat has a decent height, so it's kind of like a chair a little bit, so my knees are a little bit up, but overall not so bad. So the seat's all the way back. So let's see what the minimum legroom here is in the back. Getting in is a little bit, kind of feels a little tight here because the door doesn't swing open that much. So let's get in. Got a decent amount of headroom, and the seat is a nice distance off the ground, so I don't have to climb in or fall down in. Okay, so even with the seat all the way back, I still have some room here, and feet are comfortable. So not really as bad as I thought it was going to be getting in. Let's go ahead and shut this door. Cup holder right here, I like that. Armrest feels pretty nice. I like that forward position, that's good. This little pocket, I'm not really sure what that's for. Seems like the charge ports would be better up here and then have a little, maybe a deeper pocket at the bottom, I'm not sure. But let's go here in the center position. So the center position, it's not as contoured, so it's just kind of like more like a flat surface. The side seats are more contoured a little bit, but this one's still pretty good. Now the tips of my toes are, you know, kind of digging into the console, but so even though there is no hump in the center, I'm still having to straddle this console. But it is a flat floor, so that's good. Okay, so continue on this seat here. This is good. So the center because of that console, is probably the least comfortable position. Other than that, if that console was, you know, a little bit more room or something, that would have been not so bad. But these end ones seem like the best. Has a little hook on this side. Same thing on that side. You also have some tap lights up here. And then getting out, you can go like that. But see, I mean, I guess the door, you can like use it to brace yourself. This is pretty much flat. The headroom is decent, but it's a little bit of a squeeze here. Not too bad. Not too bad, but I wish they had the door swing out a little bit wider, but that's my only concern. Also, the center console there, if it was just a little bit more foot room, that would have been better. Looking at the rear of the vehicle, so you can see it has a third brake light there at the top of the glass, power sliding glass as well, and a little shark fin, or pretty good sized shark fin antenna, body colored up there. Standard bulbs for your tail lights, and the backup camera, a little bit offset here. Wish it was in that center line, especially if you're going to be towing a trailer. Having the camera in line makes it easier to, you know, line up the hitch, but whatever. So you have a kind of a traditional bumper, but it has that plastic, that hard plastic, just like you find in the bed. It's super tough plastic. The exhaust is pretty well hidden. So this one has the tow hitch. Okay, so the tailgate is pretty interesting because you can fold it down like this, like a traditional tailgate. It's not assisted or anything. You can also, it's kind of heavy, it's got a little bit of weight to it. But there's also, it says right here, release. You can also pull this and swing it out this way. And I think it's good to have it swing this way, so that way if you pull up to a curb or something like that, you can swing this open this way and unload your stuff, and or whatever. Because like a Jeep Wrangler swings the other way and it kind of gets in the way. But that's not all. You have this bed, and it has some tie downs. It's a composite type material, super tough. I see commercials where they take and drop a load of rocks and stuff like that in this bed. So it's really robust, and it has the tow hooks there on the front, on the top and bottom, here in the back, or not tow hooks, but tie downs, sorry. And then you have these like a little storage pocket right here, so you can put some stuff. And it has a kind of a rudimentary seal around the outside. This is not secure. Anybody can get in there. And you can see it has the bed lights here on both sides. That helps out, especially having two of them on either side, kind of more in that central position. And I want to point out that the tailgate is not locking. So you can see the tailgate's there's no way to lock it. But there is a storage compartment under here that is locking. You do have to manually lock it with a manual key. But this opens up like so, and you have basically a trunk. Now you can see it's sealed off, so you can actually see where there's some debris here in the edge that's made its way in the vehicle because of the weather and everything. But you can see this portion is completely relatively clean. I mean, there's no nothing accumulating in here as well. So now it has a tray. So this tray, there's these little screws right here and here. You can unscrew that and pull this tray out and rest it here, right here. And that way you can access your spare tire. So you just slide it out, rest it right there, access the tools and the spare tire easy, and then you can slide it back in and secure it. So it's kind of out of the way where it is. It's not underneath the vehicle getting dirty or dry rotting or anything. So I think that's a good spot. You have a little bit of space around it that I guess you can use for a little bit of extra cargo space. But this is the main portion right here. It does have some drain, or has a drain here, so that way you can, if water gets in here for whatever reason, you can drain it out. You can also probably use it as a huge cooler. If you have like a party or something, you can just dump a bunch of ice in there and put drinks and stuff in there as well. So it has a seal around the outside, also this lip right here that's kind of keeping stuff from going in there. And when you close it, it turns back into a kind of a regular bed. Now, one of the things you want to consider is that when you have things loaded in the vehicle, you can't access this if it's covering it up. But you know, there is a lot of space in the front that you can put stuff and still access this. And having it swing out, now this is really easy to swing out. It's a lot less easy to do this number just because of the weight of the tailgate. Is kind of heavy, and since you're swinging the door, it's there's no weight in which you have to lift up. Now it has a locking fuel door, so you can see the releases right here on the door. And here it is on the driver's side, and it's a capless design. So all you have to do is put the nozzle in there, pump the gas, and you don't have to worry about touching the cap or anything like that. Let's go ahead and start it up. As long as you have the key inside the vehicle, and it could be in your pocket, in a bag, or just sitting in the cup holder, whatever. You just put your foot on the brake, hold it, and push this button. So here's the floorboard in front of the driver's seat. The floor mat hooks in place just like the other side, and there's your accelerator and brake pedals, foot actuated parking brake, and a very large footrest here. So let's go and take a look under the hood. To open the latch, the latch is just a little bit to the left of center here. So just push it to the right, lift up. So basically it's just like so. Now the hood's not very heavy, it's made out of aluminum, and it's easy to pick up, but it does require a prop to hold up. So here's your prop here. Just pick it up. There's two places that you can put it. Right there is the first location, which will give you a normal height of the hood. The second location is down here. Now this gives you a much better view and access to the hood, to the engine compartment there. Now you notice that the hood has a seal across the front as well as an insulation portion there. You have a seal across the back here on the bottom. This helps with airflow and sound, noise, stuff like that. It also has an insulated firewall and a lot of plastic covering everything up. Now the battery is located right in here. Okay, so underneath this big plastic cover, this is the front end of the engine. There's the back, the transmission's over there. So it's a 3.5 liter V6 that pumps out 280 horsepower and is paired to a 6-speed automatic transmission. Now this has the ability to cut back to 3 cylinders when you don't need all the power, to kind of give you a little bit better fuel economy, but generally it's a 6-cylinder powered engine. Now it's a VTEC, Earth Dreams VTEC engine. I'll put some links in the description so you can do a little bit more research on the technology in the engine and also the ACE body structure. So you can see these strut towers here at the top. This is the top of the strut tower, and it's braced in with the unibody structure of the vehicle. And so ACE body structure, ACE, I'll put a link in the description so you can do some research on that as well, because it is pretty interesting on how they design the vehicle to crumple and be safer in an impact, as well as the overall weight of the vehicle at the same time. The inside of the driver's side door is just like the other side, except for it has a few more buttons. You have your power window controls here. The front two are automatic, one touch up and down. Goes down faster than up, it looks like. Door lock controls, and then your pockets and everything, and your door release, your fuel door release. It's easy to find right there. Looks like it's kind of easy to accidentally press as well. Okay, so the driver's seat has a power seat as well, but this one you can go up and down, you can tilt, you can do all the extra stuff. Let's go ahead and put it all the way down, all the way back, and you can tilt. You also have a lumbar adjustment as well. Here's to the left of the steering column, you have some buttons. Side mirrors are adjusted here. Just pick a side and adjust it with that little pad. Eco mode, you can turn that on to get a little bit better gas mileage. And traction control, and if you need to spin tires, you need to turn this off. Default will be on, and then there's a cargo lamps back there in which you can turn on here. It also has a tilt and a telescoping steering column that you can lock in place here. The latch is easy to find and easy to use. Okay, so I'm sitting in the driver's seat checking it out, and I have the driver's seat all the way down and all the way back, and I'm 6 feet tall. Just to give you an idea, the legroom here, knee room. And this is probably would be where I'd have to have it all the way back. Now the footrest is good, but it has this little portion right here to the left. Right in here you can see where the plastic doesn't go. It's kind of like a bump for the wheel well, which is kind of getting in the way, a little bit of annoying. I can see where that would be a long-term issue driving for a long period of time. But overall, it's pretty comfortable, especially the seat. It feels like a really comfortable and decent height off the floor, even when it's all the way down. Okay, so the steering wheel, it's a leather wrapped, soft to the touch, smooth steering wheel. A little bit thinner here at the top, then you have the thicker portions here at the bottom. Cruise control is here on the right side. These buttons correspond with the screen between the gauges. These buttons correspond with the touch screen over here. We'll go into that in a minute. Bluetooth controls are here, and you have a volume for your radio. Change through your presets on your radio and change your audio source here. Windshield wiper controls are on the right side. Turn signals on the left, but you also have your headlight controls as well: off, parking, automatic, and on. And then you have your fog light controls here. So the gauges are a combination. On the ends, you can see on the left is your tachometer, RPM gauge. On the right is your engine coolant temperature and fuel gauge. And you can see it needs fuel, so it's going to the gas station here in a second. Those are all physical gauges. Now the top digital speedometer and the screen is additional information. So digital speedometer is nice and big, easy to read. And then the screen here, kind of zoom in, because it's kind of small on camera, but you can pretty much see it. I mean, it's not too small. It has the outside temperature. Right now it's showing the digital compass and the odometer and what gear you're in, but we can go ahead and use the buttons on the right. Remember, it's the buttons here on the right of the steering wheel that corresponds to the left screen, and the left buttons correspond to the right screen. Okay, so we can go up and down. So it's basically an up and down arrow with a reset. So going up shows you, messages, stuff like that. Compass. Then you have you can reset your trips. Now it gives you a range, average fuel economy, and distance. So we can reset. So you see you have an A and a B. So you can reset those independently, but it keeps wanting to add in the low fuel in between them, just as a reminder here. But anyways, there's A and B, so that way you can reset those independently and keep track of your mileage in different trips. You also have right in here is the dimmer switch for your interior gauges. Okay, so here's your touch screen, and it has a touch screen, soft touch button, volume, so there's no physical knob. And that's how a lot of the Hondas were like that just a few years ago, but they had to change it, but they haven't changed it in this vehicle yet, so they probably will in the future years. So you can see a nice blue background, has a digital clock that's easy to read, and you can see the gloss black kind of blends in the screen to the surroundings. So you can turn off the audio there. The home button takes you to this screen, so you have all these different icons, sort of like a cell phone. And then you have this little guy right here. Let's go and push that. This pulls up like an Android type system, in which you have a browser and calculator and all kinds of cool stuff. You can even add widgets if you'd like to, sort of like an Android phone. But right here's the main features here: navigation, phone, audio, stuff like that. You can also plug in an Android phone or an Apple phone and use Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. So once you plug it in, it'll go ahead and appear on the screen here. So let's go and look at the audio. So you can see it's you can change the source here: AM, FM, satellite radio, USB, iPod, Pandora, smartphone, Bluetooth, and auxiliary inputs. So let's get back out of that. And using these buttons here, remember we said we've got some buttons over here, so we can push this button, and it's actually, let me show you this one first. This is a menu. So depending on what screen you're in, there's certain ones in which you can push that and it pops up and you can, you know, change different things, and it repurposes the volume and buttons over here during this time period in which you can, you know, make adjustments. But the top button, this one right here, is kind of like little pages on it. This one, if you push that when you're in the audio, you can have a choice between these two icons, three icons here: navigation, phone, and audio. And you just rest on the one you want and it'll quickly go there. So just to quickly go to the main features, you can use that button right on the steering wheel. Alright, so let's go back to the home and look at the navigation. So you can see it has a little Ridgeline there, which is pretty cool. We can also pinch zoom and see where we're at. We can also use the little magnifying glass there as well, and we can, you know, put in a particular address and all that stuff here. Alright, so let's just quickly look at the information. So we can look at a trip computer. We can also have a clock and wallpaper. So if we need to really focus on the time, this is a really nice background here, and we can change the wallpaper in the back as well. It gives us time and date, which is nice. And then of course you have a tremendous amount of settings that you can go into. And this is your volume, remember. Four-way flashes are here. Climate control. So it has the ability, actually has rear climate control. So we push that, we can adjust the rear climate control. So it's a tri-zone. Kind of interesting because the vehicle is not that big on the inside compared to like vehicles and stuff. So it's not like a big SUV or anything. So having the rear setting separate is pretty interesting. So you could drive your driver, passenger, and you can adjust those independently, or you can have them sync like they are now. You can, the mode is where you want the air to blow, fan speed, and all that stuff. Front and rear defrosters, and then of course you can turn the rear on or off and all that. Heated seat controls, you have high and low, so it's a two-stage storage compartment right in there. So 12-volt power supply and USB port here. So this is where you would, if you want to use Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, you will need to have it plugged into that port and have your cell phone somewhere close by. Here's a good spot here. Has a rubber floor that you can put your cell phone on. It's not going to slide around too much. Or you can put it in here, either way. Cup holders. Has some space here between them, not a whole lot, but it does have some space for a handle, or just utilizing the space for more than just cups. Okay, so here's the shifter. Fairly straightforward. Let's go ahead and put it in reverse so you can see the backup camera here on the screen. Now the backup camera has different views, so it has a super wide, more linear look, and then a straight down. So you know, it's important to note that this is offset, so you're not looking at the center here. So you know, backing up to a trailer hitch, you would need to compensate a little bit. You can change to the gear ratios here if you need to. There's neutral, drive, and then a low range, so this will give you more engine braking. And then a snow mode, so this will basically like starts out in second gear. It gives you a little bit more of an advantage in the snow, I guess. I haven't tried that in the snow. I don't know if you might be actually better at driving in snow than this will, you know, I'm not sure. I haven't really used that, but that's the snow mode. And then you have the space right here to put stuff, but you can also slide this back, and you have a storage compartment here as well. And there's, back in here is a little spot, a little cubby spot right here that you can put stuff in and slide it out of the way. But it's kind of a quick access spot to put stuff that you need to get to, because this will get cluttered up. See how deep it is, and then it's going to be hard to find stuff, especially if it's black on the inside. So down in here there's also a USB and auxiliary inputs here, and a 12-volt power supply. Now when you close this up, I don't see any way for wires to go in and out of this compartment. So the wires, you have to have this either open. It snaps when it closes, so it actually is secure when it's closed, but having it open like so, you know, it's kind of loosey-goosey here until it comes all the way to the back, and it kind of snaps a little bit here in the back. But anyways, that's what's going on there. And now these armrests, they kind of ratchet. So I'll demonstrate on this one. So it ratchets, well, this one doesn't ratchet, it's just the driver. Okay, so this one ratchets up, and you can adjust it, and it's soft to the touch and pretty comfortable actually, but it's kind of small. You ratchet to where you want it, or you reset it, you just lift it all the way up and drop it back down. You can ratchet up, I don't know if you can hear the clicks there, and get it right where you want it. Rearview mirror has an auto dimming rearview mirror, and it's actually auto dimming right now because I have the shade over the light sensor. It's right back in here. So we have some tap lights here, here and here. You can turn on all the lights by turning the switch this way, all off, or have it in the center position to have them turn on with the door. And this is for your sunroof, and this is your sliding glass in the back. You also have a HomeLink garage door opener control. I'll show you these in a second. There's a place to put your shades. You also have a conversation mirror when you drop it there. The visor is a cloth material similar to the headliner. You have mirrors and lights. It also extends out. Okay, so the sunroof has a shade that covers up 100% of the light. Like so. It's manual. And then we can tilt it up, tilt it down, and move it back. Alright, that's as far back as it goes. Okay, so looking at the visibility, while we're back there, we'll go ahead and check out the sliding rear glass. Okay, so with the headrests, those headrests, you can move them out of the way. You can take them out or whatever, but but generally they're going to be in the way. Of course, if you have passengers back there, they're going to be in the way as well. But overall, look at how much visibility is pretty good. For relatively small pillars back there, and looking over your shoulder. Now, regarding visibility, there is a camera underneath that side mirror. So as we put the turn signal here on the right, when we put that turn signal on, this camera pops up here. So you can see it just gives you a view in your blind spot to the right. Now, if you don't want to put your turn signal on, there's a button here at the end of the stock. Push that, it'll give you that view before you put your turn signal on, or whenever you want, so you can see what's going on back over here. So that's typically the blind spot in which people have issues seeing. So having that camera there is pretty handy. So just quickly push that, and it gives you a view there on the side of the vehicle. Alright, so there you have it. Thank you for watching. Thank you to East Coast Honda here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And I'll see you guys next time. Time to go get some gas.